Hello everyone, we are doing another Game of Thrones video, and today we will be explaining the Prince That Was Promised prophecy, what it is, who was thought to be it, and who could be it, and some of the theories that surround it. The Prince That Was Promised is a prophesized leader or savior. The prince may be part of an ancient prophecy which foretells the coming of a hero to deliver the world from darkness. A bleeding star is supposed to be the herald of the coming prince. The prince is also said to have a song of ice and fire. It's not known exactly who originated the prophecy, but Melisandre has said the prince was prophesied 5,000 years ago. When Melisandre talks about the prince that was promised, she often interchanges it with Azar Ahai. Some people think they're the same person, others think they're two different prophecies, but one thing is for sure, the two do share similarities with each other. When Maester Aemon Targaryen talked about the prophecy, he mentioned how the prince would also be born amidst salt and smoke. He also says to Samwell Tarly, "What fools we were who thought ourselves so wise." The air crept in from the translation. Dragons are neither male nor female. Baal saw the truth of that, but now one and now the other. As changeable as flame. The language misled us for 1,000 years. Daenerys is the one. Born amidst salt and smoke. The dragons prove it. Then Missandei said in Season 7,
"The prince who was promised will bring the dawn." I'm afraid I'm not a prince.
Your Grace, forgive me, but your translation is not quite accurate. That noun has no gender in High Valyrian, so the proper translation for that prophecy would be the prince or princess who was promised will bring the dawn.
So the prince that was promised can either be a prince or princess. Also in the book, Sir Barristan mentioned that a woods witch had foretold that the prince that was promised would be born from the line of Rhaella and King Aerys, who are the parents of Rhaegar, Viserys, and Daenerys. The first person who is believed to be the prince that was promised was Rhaegar Targaryen. Maester Aemon believed this, and so did young Rhaegar. One day he read something in the scroll that changed him. He went to Sir William Darry and said, "I will require sword and armor. It seems I must be a warrior." Rhaegar in his later years believed his son Aegon was the prince that was promised because there was a comet that went over King's Landing when Aegon was born. Stannis was also said to be the prince that was promised. Melisandre was the biggest believer in this. When the Red Comet appears in the beginning of Season 2, Melisandre says that the Red Comet was the herald of the prince that was promised, Stannis. Even though he wouldn't be from the line of Aerys and Rhaella, but he does have Targaryen blood in him. All these people were thought to be the prince that was promised. All of them are dead in the TV show. Now there really is only about 3 people who could still be the prince that was promised. Daenerys, Jon, and Gendry. The only reason why I included Gendry on this list is because he does have Targaryen blood in him, being Robert's bastard after all. But other than that, there's really nothing else that would link him to being the prince that was promised. Next is Daenerys Targaryen. She does have a very strong case for being the princess that was promised. She is from the line of Rhaella and Aerys. Daenerys was born amidst salt and smoke. She was born during a great storm on Dragonstone while fleeing from Robert, the ocean providing the salt. And she was figuratively reborn as the mother of dragons after emerging from Khal Drogo's funeral pyre unscathed, which would provide the smoke. Also, after the pyre, the Red Comet appeared, so she was born under a bleeding star. The only thing she doesn't have is a song of ice and fire. And finally, Jon Snow. He is from the line of Rhaella and Aerys. Since his father is Rhaegar Targaryen, Jon is also born beneath a bleeding star. When Ned enters the room where Lyanna is, he puts down Arthur Dayne's bloody sword, Dawn. Dawn is actually forged from a fallen star, so Jon was born under a bleeding star. Jon also has a song of ice and fire, Lyanna Stark being the ice and Rhaegar Targaryen being the fire. But he was not born amidst salt and smoke. But Melisandre does say this after she revives Jon in the beginning of Season 6.
The Lord let you come back for a reason. Stannis was not the prince who was promised, but someone has to be.
Personally, I think it would be Jon over everybody else. He is one of the most selfless characters in the series. He never wanted power. He was always chosen to lead, from the Night's Watch to the King of the North. And Daenerys is going a little crazy right now. But Melisandre also says this in Season 7.
Prophecies are dangerous things. I believe you have a role to play. As does another. The King in the North, Jon Snow.
So maybe together Jon and Daenerys fulfill the prophecy. Or maybe there is no prophecy of an ancient hero. It was just something made up to tell children at night. Or maybe Rhaegar was the prince that was promised, and Robert killed the last chance Westeros had to survive. So what do you guys think? Is it Jon, Daenerys, Gendry? Is it Jon and Daenerys together? Is it their kid, or is it someone who has died already? Leave it down in the comments below, and if you want more Game of Thrones content, please subscribe, and as always, have an awesome day.
You should get some rest.